Next season, the Blackhawks are celebrating their centennial year. Mario and I are going to share our wish list for the events of the season. We're going to talk about the World Championships, which are underway, and a whole lot more. Join us for this Friday edition of the CHGO Blackhawks Podcast. Welcome into the CHGO Blackhawks Podcast. We hope you're having a great Friday, Nate. It's not Thursday, it's Friday. You almost threw me off with my cold open there. We appreciate you being here. Hit that like button for us. Subscribe to our YouTube page as well. And if you're listening on the old podcast app, follow, subscribe, rate, review, all that wonderful stuff. We'd love to have you do all those things for us and a whole lot more. That's Mario Tirabassi.
Hello.
I'm Jay. Katie's over there running the show. Here's what we're going to do today. We've got the Centennial coming up next season. We were told as a media group that some sort of thing will be revealed on the 15th, which is next Wednesday, I believe. So we should get some info. So we want to give our wish list before we get the info. Then we'll react to the info we get next week. So we're going to give our kind of wish list for things we want to see throughout the season. World Championships are underway. Team USA is leading 1-0 at last check over Denmark. Vlasic and Nazar in that game for the Blackhawks. We've already had one game played today. We've got a whole bunch more, so stick around. But let's start with our Centennial thing. And before we get into our wish list, there's one thing we already know, is that there will be a special home jersey. And all we really know about it is that the Blackhawks logo will have the tan outline instead of the black outline, which is kind of the style it was in the 90s.
Yeah, I think that's and that's just kind of going off of what the logo for the 100th season looks like. It has that tan outline. I'd imagine it will do that also on the jersey, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that all shapes up.
Yeah, and I know we'll have our share of special events and special appearances from people and those sort of things. But usually when the Hawks do these sort of things, they go very well. They've got a knack for doing these things right. All their theme nights are very good. Even if you look at the last few years of the Best Day Ever games,
those are fun.
Designed for families, but everyone seems to enjoy those events because of the in-game features they have and just the activities around the atrium. And you have Native American Heritage Night, and you have Pride Night, and you have all the special events they do are always very, very cool and very, very worthwhile. And they've been planning this Centennial for years now. I think our first conversation with Jamie Faulkner and Danny Wirtz, 2 seasons ago?
October of 2022.
Yeah, they were already talking about plans for the Centennial season. So what we did was we each came up with our list of 5 things we'd like to happen, and that's what we're going to do today.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot that can be done. I mean, it's 100 years of hockey for an Original Six organization. Has had a ton of history. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot that can be done. Not all of this is going to happen, but I'm looking forward to next season just to see how they do this, because like you said, like those theme nights that they have, those special ceremony nights that they have, are always done up really well. Marian Hossa's jersey retirement night was just such a cool experience. Same thing with Chris Chelios in recent years. Like,
it was pretty cool until the end.
Just awesome. Yeah. Well, the game. Yeah, sure. But yeah, I mean, I'm very excited to see how this gets done up for the Hawks.
And if you've got some thoughts too in the chat, put them in there, and we'll have Katie save some of the better ones, and we'll share those as the show goes on as well. So we'll go youngest to oldest. So why don't you start us off?
Okay. All right. On my list here, and you and I mean, we definitely had some crossover because there's just some things that we're both excited about.
Yeah,
because
for sure.
Are we starting at number 1 or number 5?
Let's do 5 to 1.
At number 5. Okay.
Katie
Perfect.
says panicked.
Good. I didn't know which one we were starting on. My number 5 is something that I think a lot of people have asked about. I think it's unlikely to happen, but I think it would be fun to have the Blackhawks convention come back. I think it was just, I think it's such a cool experience for fans to be able to, get access to the team, get access to alumni, be able to just have some really cool experiences. The panels were always interesting. They'd always provide some fun content. It's gone away based off of the guy who created it is gone, as well as, COVID kind of changed things as well. But I think it would be fun to get back to a point where, I think there's a lot of renewed excitement within the team through the rebuilding process, getting a lot of young, exciting players with some personality, players that garner the fans' attention and garner the fans, getting excited about the team again. And I think it'd be fun to have that come back. And you'd be doing it with a completely brand new set of players. Like, you wouldn't be relying on, Taze or Kane or Keith or Seabrook or anything to garner that interest. It's completely fresh. It's Connor Bedard. It's Frank Nazar. Sam Renzel. All these guys could be, pushed to the forefront and, give the fan base that like, flag in the ground moment of like, this is the next generation. It's here. Let's get excited about it.
I mean, that could, now that you're talking about that, I wonder if that was part of the decision to not bring it back after COVID, and that you didn't really have anyone that was sellable yet. You get Bedard before last season. Nazar's here now. Like you said, you've got these young guys that the fan base has latched onto. Maybe now, look, and it's not going to happen this summer. You'd have to know about it already.
No.
But I think a nice bookend to the Centennial season could be the return of the fan convention. And look, maybe it doesn't look exactly the same. Maybe it's not a whole weekend at a hotel. The White Sox had a one-day Sox Fest thing at the Ramova Theater, and they had current players, former players, broadcasters show up, do a panel, hang out.
Yeah.
It was limited tickets. I do think a Hawks convention would sell a little better than a Sox convention, especially right now.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have to be exactly the way it used to be. But I do think some way for the fans to reach out and touch the current players. And look, like, Joel Quenneville's hired.
Reach out.
Stan Bowman is hired. I think you can start bringing the players back from that era. I don't think you have to hide from that anymore.
Yeah. Well, I think that's, I mean,
I think
we'll get more into that, but I think that'll be part of this celebration throughout this season, is that we're going to see a lot of former players, especially guys from those teams, put on display.
Yeah. All right, my number 5 is I want an interactive history display in the atrium. So I'm talking about some sort of tunnel or something they can build where I can walk through and see 100 years of Blackhawks history.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see Stan Mikita's stick. This is the stuff, and I don't know if you're like this too, when I go to a Hall of Fame or a museum, when it is something that belonged to someone, like that is always the coolest thing for me.
Like the stick used to score, Bobby Hall's 50th goal or something.
Right.
Like
that. I went to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. This was years ago, and they had Jim Morrison's report card. And I'm like, that's just such a cool, like, that's something that, you can see a guitar, you can see a microphone, whatever it might be. But like, this is something from his life. Like, those sort of things are very cool to me. Like that, mm-hmm. There is a living piece of history right in front of me. And just something, I know, the atrium might have its limitations in terms of what you can do, but I'm trying to remember what they did it for a couple of years ago. There was something you could walk through, and they had kind of like lockers set up in there. Now, obviously, if you're going to have historical items in there, they're going to be behind glass, as they should be. But I would think if you can build and break down a hockey rink, 41 times a year, you could probably do the same with a kind of interactive atrium.
Or you can make
walkthrough.
it different, because, the size of that exhibit would be limited to the atrium. You could make it different things each month or something like that.
As we move up my list, we will see possibilities there.
Yeah, I think they do have, from time to time at home games, they'll have like the 4 locker stalls, and it'll have like Tony Esposito's goalie gear or like Chris Chelios's skates and sticks or something like that. They've done that a few times, but yeah, I think something like that would be really cool. Something that you could, even if it was like a pop-up thing that they had, in at the Fifth Third Arena or something like that. Like, I think that would be really cool because there is so much. I mean, we heard from Brendan Perlini, just talking about the warehouse of sticks that they have, basically just of Duncan Keith.
Yeah, all
like
his crap is
that
like
the
in
Hawks
closet somewhere.
Yeah, that the Hawks have so much gear and memorabilia and stuff. There's stuff in the Madhouse team store, like the 1938 like Stanley Cup rings. That's like literally just like, it looks like my ring here, and it just says 1938 Blackhawks. Like, it's so
a little different from the
so
Dynasty
nonchalant.
ones.
Yeah. I think stuff like that would be really cool. I would love to see that. Like, and you just get to see like the difference of how the equipment looked, how the jerseys looked, like, what they were made of. Like, I just think that would be a really fun thing for
I want to
fans.
see specifically the Tony Esposito breezers that he sewed the fishnet in the 5-hole.
That would be fun.
See, I don't know if a lot of Hawks fans know this, but Tony Esposito literally took, I don't know if it was fishing net or nylons or something, and literally like stitched them in the crotch of his breezer. So if anything got through his legs, there was an extra barrier to stop things. He would also unstuff and restuff his pads, before like they'd get inspected. He'd unstuff them and then restuff them by the time the game started. Always looking for an edge. So awesome. I think that's the sort of stuff. Like, yeah, we all know about the Stanley Cups. We all know about the legends. But there's so much to Blackhawks history that is unknown. And let's be honest, like there is an era from like the mid 90s to basically the Kane and Taves era that is the dark ages of the Blackhawks. Like no one really knows what happened in there. And let's be honest, there wasn't anything great.
Not a lot of notable things.
But there were some really good players that time has forgotten. We talk all the time about Jocelyn Thibault. Mm-hmm. I talk all the time about Tony Amani, and I think people are kidding that I think he's the best 10 in Hawks history. I do. I think he's a better player than Patrick Sharp, and most of the city completely missed the Tony Amani era, which was a ton of fun. Mm-hmm. We're starting to see that meme of him on the bench.
Yeah,
coming around like
just dropping F-bombs.
Go F yourself just over and over again. Tony Amani was a really exciting player for the Hawks, and someone that definitely deserves a little more recognition than he's ever received. He was there for the Roenick night, and him and JR were best friends, and then was it? No, wait. No, it wasn't Amani night. No.
Amani and Roenick were...
Was it Chelios night that Amani was there? Because remember, didn't Roenick say in his Hall of Fame speech, like he reached out to Amani but didn't hear back or something?
I don't remember.
I think they're still not on great terms. Someone in the chat will know. I think Amani was there for Chelios.
I think he was there for Chelios because they did the panel of Belfour, Amani, was Larmer?
I'm looking at
I remember exactly who the...
Yes, it was Chelios night that Tony Amani was there for.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was not there for Roenick.
Not for Roenick, no.
And
but the Roenick night wasn't as big as the Chelios night.
But there's...
Yeah, I mean, there might be a rift there. Who knows?
Oh, there's a rift.
Yeah.
Oh, there's definitely a rift.
Yeah, well.
There's a rift within the Beatles. All right, we're going to hit the break zone. We're going to come back with the rest of our list. I'm seeing some really cool ideas in the chat as well. We'll share some of those as we move along. Hit that like button for us. And make sure you're subscribed as well. Back in 2 minutes on the CHGO Blackhawks podcast. I had to get some water in there. If you've ever tried to buy a home, get a loan, or just deal with money stuff in general, you know it can be a lot. That's why we're going to tell you about the Rate app. And it's seriously a game changer. You can get pre-approved for a mortgage in minutes without the need to jump through a million hoops. And if you're thinking about a home equity loan or personal loan, you can secure one in under 15 days. Buying a home is difficult. It's so many steps.
Yes, it is.
So many meetings, so many denials and approvals, and oh my goodness. You need the Rate app. It makes things so much easier for you. And the Rate app also helps you find the best homeowners and auto insurance based on what you actually need. The whole thing is powered by AI, so it's smart and saves you time and money. And here's an unexpected bonus. They've added over 800 free wellness videos, stuff like meditation, breathing exercises, stretching, basically tools to help you feel better mentally and physically. So if you're stressed out about a loan or your mortgage or really just whatever's going on in your life, just let the Rate app handle it. Once that's covered, you can hit one of their free wellness videos to chill out. It's one app that helps your wallet and your well-being at the same time. Download the Rate app today to get started.
And just like your favorite team needs a home court, home field, or home ice advantage, your home needs a home floor advantage, and that is where our friends at Empire Today can help you get it, the advantage. Empire Today has flooring experts, dedicated flooring professionals who focus on flooring every single day of their life. They have dedicated their lives to floors. They are to floors what the Chicago Pope is to Catholicism. They are the popes of floors.
Wow.
Empire Today. And we've all been to those big box stores where you wander endless aisles, somehow hauling all of the materials home yourself, looking for an installer, and coordinating everything on your own. Why is Empire your best bet? Well, it's because they don't force you to go there and figure it out yourself. They will bring the showroom directly to you, so you can find the right flooring that matches the colors in your space, matches your furniture, matches your wallpaper, whatever it is. The flooring can be done right, it can be measured properly, and it can be done all in the next day after you talk to them. So you get clear and upfront pricing, so you don't have to be surprised by like, hey, I didn't know I was going to have to pay for this. With Empire Day, you get it all up front, so you know exactly what you're dealing with. You can schedule a free in-home estimate today, and our listeners can receive a $350 discount when you use the promo code CHGO. That's right, a $350 discount with the code CHGO. Restrictions do apply, but visit empiretoday.com/CHGO for full details.
All right, Mario, let's move to
Number 4.
Number 4 on your list.
My number 4 is a simple one. I just want more organ music.
Thank you.
In games.
Yes.
Like, we're talking about 100 years of history. Some nights I'd like it to feel like it was before the days of dance mixes to every single song on the planet. I would love to, not that I don't enjoy that. That gets my juices flowing from time to time, but just some traditional organ music. Make it feel like the Chicago Stadium. Like I'm all for that. That would be a ton of fun. I think, remember for the Chelios night, they changed the scoreboard back to like the 90s style where it was just like the two-tone light bulbs and stuff. That was cool. More organ music. I'm all for that. Make it feel like a little more old-time hockey feeling at some of those games.
I love that idea, and it doesn't have to be only the Centennial season. I think you've got this brilliant sounding organ that is the sound of Blackhawks hockey, and it has been for 100 years, and year after year after year it gets used less and less and less because this idea is like fans want to hear modern music. They're not deciding to come to a game based on the music at the between whistles.
Unless
they're not.
It's a DJ Oreo night.
Well, of course, DJ Oreo night. I mean, he should be the DJ for every damn game. That would be one. That's my number 6. I forgot to put that on the list. But like,
yeah,
it's so overthought. When I go to a ball game, like you walk into Wrigley Field, and that familiar organ playing means you're at the ballpark.
Mm-hmm.
When you walk into the United Center and you hear that organ, especially when they hit those lower notes, like the bassier notes, and the building shakes.
Love that.
I mean, one of the things I will miss, and I hope they have a good recording of it somewhere, is during the holidays Frank Pellico plays a pregame holiday medley.
Yeah.
That is unbelievable, and it's become. I mean, I'm there every year. I'm there all the time. It's become like a Christmas tradition to me to hear that medley from Frank Pellico. It's beautiful.
Well, to be Carrie now.
It's so well done. Yeah. But I mean, yeah, have Carrie do her own. I think Carrie's put her own touch on a national anthem. It's subtle, but it's a little bit different.
I've noticed that.
As it should be. She's a new anthem player. You know, she's a new organist. She should put her touch and her own feel on things. But I would love more organ music during the game, not just for 1 year. It's the sound of going to a live sporting event. I can hear Diplo. Is that someone? Diplo is somebody, right?
I mean,
Katie?
that is somebody. Yeah.
That is somebody.
What
yeah.
explain to me what a Diplo is.
Well, I don't know if they still use Diplo's music. I feel like that. I don't know.
Is that an out-of-date reference?
I think so.
I mean, that is a musical artist I've heard of before.
All right.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it. You want to get young people there. I'm telling you, my daughter's 14. She's not like, I'm not going unless my music is being played. It doesn't work that way.
They do play Sabrina Carpenter and all that. Yes. So they hit what the youths are into these days.
My daughter's into Claro. That's her new favorite is Claro.
Couldn't tell you.
That's good. That's fine. It could be a lot worse.
Could be.
Yes. Yes, that's a great one. I wish that was on my list, but hey, now we've got more stuff.
Ongo Gablogian has a great here. Gene Honda Appreciation Night.
He
what? Needs to be appreciated.
I like that they use him as part of the pregame. Like they actually talk to him and acknowledge that he's there. This is one thing the White Sox do really well is they glorify their peripheral employees.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's no more famous, groundskeeper in the world than the Sod Father. They love Gene Honda.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, I think the Hawks could give him, and I wouldn't mind bringing Frank Pellico back for a handful of games if he's feeling up to it.
I think they should do one. They should do a proper send off for him because that was so odd. It was just like, oh, by the way, Frank's retiring. Tonight's his last night, and we were like, oh, okay. That happened so quickly, and I'm sure people would. There are people who would they would be like, oh, it's officially his last night. I'm going to go.
It was very weird the way they did it.
It was very abrupt.
I would like to talk to someone and get, even if they can't, if you're listening, even if it's not something I can use on the air, just some understanding as to why it was so sudden. Well, because it was very sudden. It was very sudden.
All right, your number 4?
Yeah, my number 4.
What's nice is we've taken a lot of time on our 5s and 4s because our top 3 are the same.
Yes.
So we'll get everything covered. Don't worry.
My number 4 is era theme nights. This is not a big deal, but
Taylor Swift.
If you're gonna have
theme nights,
yeah, sure, the era tour,
the Eras tour.
If you're gonna have, I forgot how big of a Swiftie Katie is. That's right. You should show some of your art on the show someday, Katie.
No, that's okay.
It's an open invite. All right. Well, share your gift. Come on. 80s night, 90s night, 60s night, 70s night. Yes, you can have the music. But also, teach me about some players. Who are the great Blackhawks of this era?
Yeah.
And look, I don't need more info on Stan Mikita, Bobby Hull, Tony Esposito, Dennis Savard. I want to know more about these peripheral guys. Tell me about the third line grind. 30 years from now, will people be talking about Andrew Shaw, Chris Versteeg? Probably not, right? They're important pieces of Blackhawks history, and there were guys like that through all eras. I think Troy Murray is a guy whose time in Chicago was fantastic, and most people, of the new generation of fans have no memory of Troy Murray as a Blackhawk or know what he was good at or what he did because he was overshadowed by so many superstars on that team. So I want to get to know guys better. I think era nights create that opportunity, and it's fun. You could have music, get Tommy Hawk a disco collar and a leisure suit or whatever you want to do. This is a very obvious sort of thing to do, and you've got the opportunity to have 10 of them.
Nate's got a great idea. Era accurate prices.
I'm sure they'll jump at that.
Yes. Give me a dollar dogs, dollar beers, and that'd be great. Era accurate prices. One
even if you did it at one stand.
One game of that like 60s, 70s, 80s era is also era accurate ticket prices.
Yes, that's a good one. By the way, if you could scroll up a little bit there, Katie. A little more. There, Brian Magnuson says Harvey Wittenberg. That's another one. Harvey was...
He's at almost every
He's at every
game.
game.
Yeah.
He was Gene Honda before Gene Honda.
Yeah.
He was the Hawks PA announcer, Hawks historian. He still goes every game. I don't know why he's just kind of like put in a press box row with bums like us, but Harvey Wittenberg needs a little more attention. And to me growing up, Harvey Wittenberg on the PA that's my dude.
Yeah.
That's the guy I think of when I think of the United Center and Chicago Stadium PA announcer.
Yeah.
It's kind of a high pitch, like a nasally voice, but just really great. The guy loves the Blackhawks, knows everything about them. Yes, I would like to see a little more acknowledgement, or at least an acknowledgement of Harvey Wittenberg. You have a major piece of Blackhawks history in your press box every single night.
Yeah.
Use him.
That would
do
be,
something.
That
with
would
him.
be, that'd be pretty cool. Especially for someone like me who, like, I know what he did. I just have I was never there for it. So just to kind of like, have a little bit more recognition for that would be really cool.
Yeah.
Windy City Hockey with a $5 super chat says Dapper Night at the UC. Make it where fans show up wearing nice clothes like during the original 6 era.
That would be cool. I wonder if you could pull it off.
You wouldn't.
You probably couldn't get everyone to do it, but if you
made it known that this is our theme
enough,
yeah.
And maybe you could tie it to like a New Year's Eve game or something like that.
Oh, that'd be fun.
And just have people just wear suits, wear hats, get a little dressed up. That would be cool. That would be a cool thing.
Some not was it not fedoras, but kind of like fedoras.
Yeah, fedoras, right?
I think fedoras is like Jason Mraz hats, but I'm thinking of like
I
don't think they were fedora.
I know what you
They're
mean.
not bowler hats either, but I don't know. Maybe it's
Just a hat, good old fashioned hat, like a short top hat.
Yeah, you could find.
I don't know what those are called.
Yeah, that's good. That would be fun. Yeah, like you said, like around like a Christmas or New Year's Eve. I think you could get people to
that would be cool
to do that. All right, we're up to number 3. I think now we're at the point where we just copy each other.
We're in similar spots here.
Yeah. Okay. Are we at the break zone? No, we can jump into this. Jersey retirements, plural. For me, I think we mentioned it a couple of weeks ago. I can't remember the context in which it came up, but I think we're going to get just a number of jersey retirements. My bet is that it's going to be Duncan Keith, Brent Seabrook, and Jeremy Roenick get some number retirements. You can argue, I know a lot of people are behind Steve Larmer getting that recognition. I just think they soft launched what a Roenick night reception would be like. Keith and Seabrook are now both officially retired. I think there's no better season to really, hit the ground running with this next era of like recognition for those Stanley Cup teams. And then also, with Chelios, it was kind of like, are they ever going to do it? Like, would he ever get that honor, that 90s era of Hawks, like you were kind of talking about before? I think Roenick's a guy that, does fit that like criteria that they put out when Hossa was getting his number retired. I just think those are 3. I think you would each get their own night, as they should.
Yeah.
And you'd knock it out of the park.
So we're on the same page here. Mine was retired Duncan Keith's number at least. It's got to be at least Duncan Keith. I think the 3 you said make the most sense. Keith, Seabrook, Roenick, for sure. I don't know what's going on with Taves.
He's going to try and play.
I guess so. So that's going to have to. They're going to have to wait till he's done playing. Because I sort of feel like he should be next. But if he's just not retiring, then they can't.
If he's not officially retired, yeah.
So, I suppose you could retire his number while he's still active, and if he ever decides to come back to Chicago, he can wear his own number. It is for him.
That would be weird.
That would be weird, but
have they?
So
did that happen for somebody?
Number retired and they came back and played.
An active player that got their number retired.
I wonder if Mario Lemieux's number was retired as soon as he got sick.
Yeah.
And then I'm not sure.
I'd have to look that up.
But if that's in the back of your head, that would be the most recent thing that I think would probably
because
cross
Gretzky's wasn't while he was still playing.
No, but it was retired league wide.
But it was league wide. Yeah.
So I'm saying at least Keith,
Mm-hmm.
and then Seabrook and Roenick.
I think for me those are 3 easy picks. You could do more. I mean, you have 41 games to get a few done, but and I think this would be the year to really, beef it up with stuff like that.
Beef. All right, we got to hit the break zone and stick around because we've got a new thing to announce on the other side.
Breaking news
that you'll be very excited about. So don't go anywhere. We'll be back in 2 minutes on the CHGO Blackhawks podcast. And whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. If you're a new customer, you can get $150 in bonus bets when you bet $5, win or lose. Here's what you have to do. First, you got to download the app, obviously. Sign up. Use that code CHGO365. You put $10 in there. You place a bet for $5. You're going to get $150 in bonus bets if your team wins. If your bet, wins or loses. And with the Bet365 NHL early payout offer, you're a winner if your team gains a 3-goal lead with an instant payout on straight bets and parlay selections marked as winners. Download the app. Use that code CHGO365 when you sign up. When you do that, you're going to get $150 in bonus bets when you bet $5, win or lose. So don't forget, use that code CHGO365 when you sign up. You'll put $10 in, place a bet for $5 to get $150 in bonus bets back if your bet wins or loses. Those bonus bets can be used on spreads, totals, player props, futures, and more. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 21 plus. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, crisis counseling and referral services can be accessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER in-app only.
And had some warmer days these last few days, and it's going to continue to get warmer as we get deeper into spring and into summer. Is your home's air conditioning system up to par, ready to go for the season ahead? If not, you need to call our friends at Four Seasons Heating, Air Conditioning, Plumbing, and Electric. They've been serving the Chicagoland area for over 50 years, and they are the experts ready to help you get your AC going with installation, maintenance, and repairs, whatever you need to get ready for the summer ahead. Did you know last year officially was Chicago's hottest year on record? The heat index got up to 114 degrees out there at O'Hare.
We're not doing that again.
Very difficult to deal with if your AC unit is not up to snuff.
Or if you're junky.
When it's hot and humid, you want to know that you are covered, and Four Seasons can get you set up. Make sure your home is cool and comfortable. Their expert technicians ensure you always receive a reliable service, and Four Seasons doesn't charge more for service during nights, weekends, or holidays. So if you have any emergencies, they can get out there whenever and help you out. And you can save up to $4,000 on new comfort systems with Four Seasons. New AC units starting from $39 a month, and AC furnace combos starting from $57 a month. Your trusted local experts are the ones at Four Seasons Heating, Air Conditioning, Plumbing, and Electric. Visit fourseasonsheatingcooling.com for all of their special offers and money-saving coupons. Again, that's fourseasonsheatingcooling.com. For all the right reasons, call 866-4SEASONS.
I was going to ask you what your favorite flavor of combo is, but you probably can't eat combos, can you? Because of the gluten.
Like combo...
The snacks.
Oh, so before I was glutened,
I got glutened. You're Bill Murray in Ghostbusters.
That's how it feels sometimes. It's a toss-up between the pepperoni pizza with the cracker shell, or the pizzeria cheese pizza with the pretzel shell.
That's mine. The pretzel shell.
I might give the edge to the pretzel shell. I really did like also the buffalo and blue cheese with the pretzel shell. Those are good too.
Interesting.
But yeah, probably the pizzeria because of the pretzel shell.
Do you know, and this coming from the host of the AmFat podcast, that combos are like the unhealthiest snack there is.
Well, I'm not
It's just
surprised.
insane.
It's a cracker or a pretzel stuffed with
cheese-like
flavored
stuff.
paste. But they are, they would be, if I didn't have a gluten sensitivity, they would be my go-to anytime I go to a convenience store.
They're my road trip. That's how I just
absolutely.
find it. If I'm going on a road trip, I'm getting combos.
Yeah, 100%.
All right, here's our special announcement. The white smoke has cleared, and it's official. The Pope is from Chicago. Commemorate this once-in-a-lifetime moment with our brand new CHGO Sweet Pope Chicago tee by going to allchgo.com merch locker today. I love that
That's
design.
a great design.
If you're listening on the podcast, it is a papal headpiece with the
Pope
Chicago
hat.
colors made of, it looks like with a stained glass design.
And the Chicago skyline as well.
That is very cool. That is very well done.
I like that design.
I love
That's
that
good.
design. That is excellent.
That's
Like
very
a
good.
charcoal gray or black shirt. That is really cool. Pick that up at store.allcitynetwork.com. If you're a diehard, yes, indeed, you will save 20%. And if you want to become a diehard, you'll get it for free. Allchgo.com to become a diehard or to get the shirt. Check it out. I love this design. So we literally got a tip that before the show started that a papal shirt might be dropping during the show. We had no idea what to expect.
That's great.
And I'll say there has been one design in history that dropped and we were kind of like, all right, about it.
Oh, yeah.
This one, outstanding.
I really like
10
that
out of
one.
10.
Yeah.
I would buy
That's a
this,
good one.
and I think I'm going to. I love this one. Check it out at allchgo.com. I love this. The CHGO Sweet Pope Chicago t-shirt. It's just been the last 24 hours on the internet. It's been a throwback to the days when Twitter was not just a cesspool of nonsense and funny memes. And just, I saw somebody today did the Chicago style hot dog from Portillo's, and it's just a Chicago dog with like 3 communion hosts.
Oh,
like,
my
stuffed
God. I
into
saw that, yeah.
Like, people are getting very creative about
it's
it.
good. It's good stuff.
And I love it. So do that. All right, before we get to our top 2, why don't we take a look at some of the selections our chat has offered.
Some good ones.
Some of them are just, repeats from what you guys said.
Sure. No, there've been some good ones I've seen in there. I saw yearbook theme night, 17 seconds night would be fun. A lot of people saying like more like commemorations of like the Chicago Stadium, and I think that would be really cool just because, like I mentioned before, like I never got to a game at Chicago Stadium, Bulls or Hawks. It was torn down before I really was like, what is sports?
Yeah.
And what is being a fan? Because it was 94, 95 that it was.
United Center its first year.
United Center was 94 first
Or was
year?
it 93, 94? Hold on. Anyway, go
But
ahead.
it was, well, because it was 94 because they just did the 30 years last year.
Right. Yeah, 94 was the first year.
So yeah, I mean, just like more, to commemorate the Chicago Stadium experience, I think would be really cool because, I would even say like, that generation of fan that was brought in with the Taze and Kane Cup eras, as well as now the generation of fan that's come in with, let's say, the Bedard era, have no recollection of Chicago, would have no or almost no connection to Chicago Stadium, and it's such a historical piece of not only the Blackhawks but just the city itself.
You could
So
pump
I
in
think
the
that would be
smell
really
of
cool.
Cigarette smoke,
Sure,
stale beer, maybe
Why
a little
not?
bit of pee.
Just a little bit.
You could just let the occasional rat like run through the concourse.
There was one at Jonathan Taze's final game.
That was a
in the
mouse
in the media room.
not a rat. But just really bring it back to the no. I mean, here's what they could do. You could do all organ. Now I don't remember accurately enough as a kid if it was 100% organ music at the stadium. I don't think it was 100%, but it was a lot.
Yeah.
You could take that scoreboard you have and try to replicate the Chicago Stadium scoreboard, which you referenced earlier, was like basically just light bulbs.
Yeah,
It was the
just
shape
like
of the Blackhawks logo, and
yeah,
you could totally do that for a handful of games. I would love that.
that would be cool.
Coffee RV had a comment too to bring back the Blackhawks magazine, and I know
Mm-hmm.
it was so fun to collect those because remember a couple
You brought one
last
in.
season. I brought in a bunch of them.
Didn't you bring in one that was like the 06, 07 season?
Yeah, and the roster was terrible.
Yeah.
But they're timepieces, and they were really like well produced, glossy. And I know why they don't. The cost to publish those is astronomical. But what they could do is for the entire season,
Just do it once a month.
You do once a month, or you just produce like the Centennial yearbook.
Yeah.
And treat it like that, and that would be a way you could do it. But just to have like, this is something that's kind of gone by the wayside. And I get like for efficiency, you want an electronic ticket. I still have a tin, like a watch box full of ticket stubs.
Yeah, I do
just
too.
overflowing with concert tickets and Hawks games and Sox and Cubs games. Like I kept every one of those because it was a great way to remember all the great experiences I had at the stadium or United Center or wherever I was. And now you can't really do that anymore.
They have the system where you can submit and pay for a physical ticket, or they'll say claim your physical ticket if it's some sort of
it's like a
celebration night or a milestone night or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I physical tickets were so cool. I miss that. I have a shoebox full of just random games that I was like, I'm just gonna keep this ticket to remember the Bulls and Cavaliers game from 2004 or whatever, like before LeBron James was like, crazy LeBron James. Like I remember going to a game and just being like, I'm just going to keep this ticket.
Yeah.
Cool stuff like that. I keep all the press passes or I've found most of them that I've had from over the years of like Ice Hogs games and stuff like that. Like that would be cool to have like a night where it's just like, it's physical ticket night. Like, be cool with that.
Josh said to bring back Pat Foley and Dale Talon to call a game. You could totally do that.
That'd be fun.
And he mentions Eddie Olczyk too. Those three were never together, but sure. But I think just having Pat and Dale call a game one night would be awesome.
Yeah,
it'd be so much fun.
Yeah.
Because again, those are my formative years as a Hawks fan. We're listening to those two great friends. Really just having the time of their lives together. Brian says, play Here Come the Hawks theme song more with lyrics. Now, they do that now.
They start every game with that
right
song.
Before the intros. They go through it twice, and it's like what do you call it? Like a graphical, it's like city shots. And
it's
they
like
have the lyrics like
video.
painted on murals and bus signs. Like they show every lyric to the song.
It's cool.
Twice before the intro. So they are doing it. It'd be cool to see it, maybe done in game, so people see it more. But yeah, these are all really great ideas.
Bijan is hitting it on the head. Cup holders. We will not rest until there are cup holders to rest upon.
I'm telling you, they don't work there. The seats, the back of the seat,
give me a cup holder
in front of you, is at your shins. So if you have someone with long hair in front of you, their hair is going to be in your drink.
We'll put the cover on it.
I still know.
I mean, then you'd be drinking beer out of like a straw. That's
Yeah, it does. I mean, you could do it.
Give me a cup holder
if on your chair here, you can install a cup holder there.
The cup holder off the armrest.
But then you're also narrowing the already narrow walkways to cross in front. There's plenty of room on the floor. Just put your drink down.
Give me a cup holder.
They need to figure out some kind of cup holder situation. I agree.
They'd have to kind of redo the whole building. That's it. Tear down the United Center.
They're already redoing everything around the United Center.
And that brings me to number 2. Tear down the United Center.
Might as well do the United Center too. All right, is it up to my number?
Yeah, you're up to
my
2.
number 2.
Yep.
My number 2. What did I have for my number 2? Had it somewhere.
We have the same one.
We have the same one. Do you remember it?
It is to bring back the black alternate jersey.
The thing that is almost essentially confirmed.
Yes.
Black alternate jerseys from that late 90s, early 2000s era. I can't wait. I cannot wait. I'm interested because with the Centennial, we've heard that it'll be, a special jersey for the home games that we'll only wear this year. They'll also have an alternate jersey from conversations we've had with Jamie Faulkner and Danny Wirtz, essentially confirming it will be the black alternate jerseys. I wonder if it's just going to be those late 90s, early 2000s brought back as is,
Don't mess with them.
Or if it will be like
Just bring him back.
Some sort of altered version of that.
You don't need to alter it.
I agree.
It's perfect. No changes needed. No notes. Bring it back. If they want to do the same with the tan outline on the Blackhawk logo,
that's what
fine.
My first Hawks jersey was for my 9th birthday. Was that it was the black jersey, and it has that. I've brought it in here. I wore it on one of the shows. Yep. Yeah, I still fit. Kind of.
I've got my black Martin Havlat jersey at home.
Yeah, I think that would be really cool.
Yeah, that's. I think everybody is on board with that, and it certainly feels like it's going to happen. And then our number one is also the same.
Which was
a permanent Ring of Honor.
Yes,
because the air quotes problem that the dynasty has created is now you have a ton of guys who have an argument to have their number retired. We're talking about Corey Crawford. We're talking about Nicholas Chalmerson, Patrick Sharp, those kind of guys who probably, at least in my mind, Crawford is the highest on that list for me.
Yeah.
Of like probably needs a number retired. But to have something where those names, Amante, Daze has been mentioned in here, Steve Sullivan, like you can start Steve Smith, and this is another way you can sell this without having to create banners for everybody. It is Tony Amante Ring of Honor night, and he gets his own night to do it. You could sell the hell out of these for the next 50 years. Anytime someone of note retires, they get added to the Ring of Honor. You put Pat Foley in there.
Yeah.
You put Dale Talon in there. And then throughout the game, it probably turns on and off. They'll use the banner for it, but maybe like while the puck's in play, you have the Ring of Honor names showing on the ring.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's such a simple thing to do because you don't even have, like you said, like it doesn't even have to be like a physical Ring of Honor like we've seen in like NFL stadiums and stuff where it's just like
the space for it.
Yeah, especially once you put those digital boards in around the arena, like you took down the Madhouse sign and all that stuff. You didn't take it down; you just moved it to the concourse. But yeah, it becomes it's an honor. You could put up a placard somewhere in the UC, physical one. But yeah, like the Ring of Honor could be just one of those digital things that always gets shown at some point in the game. It can be static somewhere. Like I just think that, and it just makes so much sense to honor all these players that can, fall through the cracks and get forgotten. Like you said, like, that late 90s post Roenick, Chelios, Belfort era up until Taves and Kane, like there's a lot of great players that just no one thinks about. Eric Daze is a perfect Ring of Honor guy. A guy like Al Secord would be a wonderful Ring of Honor guy. Like so important to those teams in the 80s and 90s, and so many guys like that. And it's just like just because they're not in that like number retirement conversation, a lot of people like just kind of out of sight, out of mind.
So there's the issue though, is like we are introducing the Ring of Honor, and our first member of the Ring of Honor is Steve Larmer. Like Steve Larmer might be like, wait a minute, I deserve to have my number retired. I don't know. It's I think it's going to be, I think that it feels like that's something that's going to happen to the Ring of Honor.
Yeah.
I'm here for it. And the other thing, like from their perspective too, is I know it's a challenge to create all these in-game montages and video highlights and features. If you've got 10 guys in your Ring of Honor to start, you just rotate through a video feature of those guys, Ring of Honor showcase or whatever. Here's a minute and a half on Tony Amante's great plays. And there's a lot of them, right? You could just do that forever. So I think it's a great idea. I think it's a no-brainer. I actually think for the Hawks, it solves a lot of problems.
Yeah. The conversations of, this guy needs the numbers retired, all that stuff, like you give that honor to those players that deserve it, even if it's not, even if you weren't one of the 10 greatest Hawks, like there's still a lot of guys that deserve that recognition. The Ice Hogs have started doing it. I know that Bickle is part of it. Corey Crawford got his number retired, is also part of it. I think it's something that would be really cool to introduce. I think that is almost as likely as the black jerseys coming back, I think, is the Ring of Honor being created. Or something like that. Blackhawks Hall of Fame, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. By the way, I want to share this. Our buddy Windy City Hockey shared this on our members-only Discord. He kind of came up, and he is the czar of jerseys. He owns probably at least 100. I'm not even kidding. This is his concept jersey for the Centennial. So similar to this year's Winter Classic jersey with the horizontal stripes across the middle. He's got the Blackhawks logo we're talking about with the tan outline, the Centennial logo on the right chest. Not a bad concept. I like that.
It incorporates a lot of different elements from jerseys over the years. It's I like it. It's a good concept for sure. I wonder how much they'll tweak it. I know when the Bruins did their Centennials jerseys, was that 2 seasons ago?
Yeah,
it wasn't all that different, but it was just different enough that you're like, oh yeah, that's a specialty jersey.
It's got to be different enough for someone to say, I need that, and I want to buy it.
Right, exactly. Yep.
So yeah, that's a lot of good ideas. Thanks everybody for sharing yours, and whatever news we get next week, we're obviously going to share it because it's the middle of May, and we need content. But I'm pretty optimistic about how these things are going to go. And look, maybe through this show, we gave them some ideas I hadn't thought about. And of all the ones that the fans presented, my favorite is having Foley and Talon on a call.
That would be fun.
Yeah. I would love that. And it's nothing against Rick Ball and Darren Pang.
No.
But, Panger's going to have his TNT games. Give Rick Ball the night off or let him sit in radio with Troy and John, whatever you want to do. And just for a game, maybe it's 90s night, whatever it might be, you have Pat and Dale do a game. That would be awesome. And if you missed it, like Foley was doing a Winter Classic on NHL radio on XM, and he sounded great. Sounded like he hasn't missed a game. So that would be awesome. I don't think anyone would be upset about that.
No.
And I think those two would be happy to do it as well, to be reunited. And again, like that's another thing. Like Dale Talon, I know a lot of people are kind of like, who do you credit the championships for more? I think you've got an argument for both Bowman and Talon, but Talon's one who drafted a lot of the top guys on that team and is just kind of, went to Florida and then just kind of no longer mentioned, no longer talked about. It's one thing I'd like to see the current regime get a little bit better with is the remembering and the maybe not even the remembering, but not letting people forget the past quite so quickly.
Absolutely.
Nostalgia sells.
It sure does.
Except not in Denver, we're told. Wow. We got some other big Hawks news today. Patrick Kane named to the NHL quarter century team. Not a huge surprise. Now, they presented this in 2 ways. He's on the team for players that debuted between 2000 and 2010. So it's Kane, Patrice Bergeron, Sidney Crosby, Pavel Datsyuk, Evgeny Malkin, Alex Ovechkin, and Steven Stamkos. Now, here's my thing. Isn't the challenge of a quarter century team to pick 3 forwards, 2 defensemen, and a goalie?
Yes.
They picked all forwards.
That's what they did for each individual team when they started doing this stuff around the middle of the season.
But I think it needs to be.
They're also
give me a unit.
They're also doing different eras. They did a team of players that debuted before 2000, which included
Sakic,
Iginla, Lindstrom. I think Martin Saint Louis was on that team. Just trying to remember it off the top of my head. This is the NHL's, and I think, if I'm trying to remember correctly, they're announcing, I think there's 40 players that are going to be on the all quarter century team. And then I think it's coming down to a fan vote of the final 3 forwards, 2 defensemen, and a goalie situation. So if that's the case, it's just like, all these guys are part of this quarter century team, and then the final vote will be put up to the fans. That's fine.
So the list they came out with has 35 players on it.
35. Okay.
Yeah. I can go through it. Bergeron, Brodeur, Burns, Chara, Crosby, Draisaitl, Doughty, Fleury, Hedman, Iginla, Kane, Carlson, Keith, Kopitar, Lidstrom, Lundqvist, McKinnon, Malkin, McDavid, Ovechkin, Pavelski, your guy, Price, Waugh, Stamkos, and
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I hard to argue. I would say Jonathan Toews should. I'm surprised he's not on that list.
Yeah, the Jonathan Toews erasure is problematic.
Yeah. Well,
it's very weird.
We only have 5 minutes left in the show.
That sounds like a good show for later.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely. But yeah, I mean, yeah. Well, we'll figure it out. But I think they are trying to cover their bases and then leave it up to the fans so that egos aren't hurt here, where, you know, it's like, oh, I wasn't named. You're not going to get a player to come out and be like, I should have been on this team. I should have been on this made up honorary team. And this person should, like, players aren't going to actually say that, but I'm sure some would feel that as well. So I feel like this is the league being like, well, we honored all these guys and then we left it up to the fans. Like, if the league should come out with their list and be like, we, through our expert panel, decided on this list. Like, put your stamp on it. Have some balls at NHL.
They won't. They won't. Yeah. Taves, that sounds like a good show. Is we just remind people how great Jonathan Toews was, which is ridiculous that we even have to do that.
To stack him up in the, you know, against other centers of that, even in that, like, debuted between 2000 and 2010, resume for resume, like, I can't believe that he's not mentioned on there.
I don't know. How do you deny what he's accomplished? I know he's had a shorter run than Stamkos and Bergeron and whatever, but what are we talking about here? Like, 3 Stanley Cups. He's won everything there is to win. World Junior Championships, gold medals, everything you asked the guy to do. He was the captain of the greatest team of the 2010s. He was a playoff performer, a Conn Smythe winner. And it's like, oh, yeah, well. So
Selke, Conn Smythe, captain, the Messier Leadership Award, all that stuff. Just an iconic player. I can't. I know longevity and points in a career favor Joe Thornton, but Toews, if you say, would you rather have Joe Thornton's career or Jonathan Toews' career? 10 out of 10 hockey players would say Jonathan Toews.
Yeah, or if you have a game 7 to win, are you taking Toews or Thornton?
In their prime.
Stop yourself.
Yeah.
Like, Toews is better than Kopitar. I know Kopitar is still playing, but at no point was Kopitar at his best better than Toews at his best.
I wouldn't say so.
There's no way. Yeah. I would say the same thing for Stamkos. Yeah, he's a big-time scorer, but in terms of, like, impact on the team, impact on championships, we're already doing this. We're already wasting the next show. But it's just, it's so weird.
It's odd.
It's like, did you forget? You forget this guy? Like, he's, I don't know. It really bothers me.
Well, we know Keith and Kane will get the honor.
Deservedly so.
Yeah.
I mean, and I'm glad Duncan Keith is not one of those guys who has just fallen.
Right.
You know,
I mean, a 2-time Norris winner, 3-time Stanley. Like, if you're forgetting Duncan Keith, then you don't know ball.
But I think that Keith is one of those guys, too, where they're so good. I think Cale Makar is, like, starting to fall into this a little bit, where they're so good, it's almost like they're taken for granted and not even like, oh, yeah, well, no. Yeah, but, yeah. He just had another Makar season. You know, whatever. He averages 27 minutes a night. You know, if you kind of get tired of talking about the same people, not me. I'll talk all day about Jonathan Toews and Duncan Keith.
Right.
I mean, honestly, if we're ranking our dynasty members, those guys are 1 and 2 to me, and Patrick Kane is 3rd. Kane's best hockey came after the Cups.
Yeah.
Like his best individual seasons.
And
he had huge moments. I'm not taking anything away from him.
I think as far as team importance, I think you don't win the 3 cups without having a player like Taze or a player like Keith. You might get one. If your biggest piece of those teams was Patrick Kane, you probably get a Stanley Cup with the rest of the supporting cast around. But to get the 3 that they did in the way that they did, you needed to have Duncan Keith. You needed to have Jonathan Taze.
I agree.
Yeah.
All right, we've got a 2-0 lead for Team USA.
3-0.
Oh, they've not updated the IIHF site yet.
3-0. Team USA leading Denmark in their opening game going into the third period. Alex Vlasic and Frank Nazar are out there for Team USA. Nazar's had a few chances to score in the game.
Yes.
I know Nazar and Vlasic are both on the penalty kill. Nazar also on the second power play unit. So they're getting some run for Team USA, which is fun to see. Teuvo is there for Team Finland. They won their game earlier today. Sweden is winning right now. Arvid Soderblom not dressed for that game. He's part of the goaltending trio there that also includes, I think, Jacob Markstrom and Samuel Ersson. I'd imagine he'll get into a game, at least one, during the World Championships. And then also Lucas Reichel is there for Team Germany, who play tomorrow.
All right. We're going to wrap things up. Make sure you go to allchgo.com to get your DePope shirt. You got to get it. It looks great. It's right there at store.allcitynetwork.com or at allchgo.com. If you become a diehard today, you will get that shirt for free. If you're already a diehard, we love you and thank you. You're going to save 20% on that shirt and all things we do here, including all of our events, takeovers, watch parties. We got our first golf outing coming up in June. So jump on there, take advantage. Tons of things to do as a diehard at CHGO Sports.
Ice Hogs game 4 tonight at home against the Admirals. They're up 2-1 in the best of 5 series, so it's their second chance to close out the Admirals and move on to the second round of the Calder Cup playoffs. That game starts at 7 p.m. You can stream it on Flow Hockey TV.
Yes, and a little bit of news here from Scott Powers. The Blackhawks are not expected to sign forward prospect Ilya Safanov when his KHL contract expires later this month.
Really?
So it's something we can get into next week. Tomorrow, we've got a mini pod dropping all about Michael Misa. So check that out. That'll be live at 10 a.m. on our YouTube and on your favorite podcast app. We'll talk to you Monday at 2 on the CHGO Blackhawks podcast.
We all silly like the mayor.